Guys, carbon reduction is the hottest global topic right now. Fossil fuel power's big flaw? Low efficiency plus tons of CO2. But Chinese scientists just dropped a game-changing breakthrough. They added a tiny special compound on catalysts. It's like a smart switch that shuts down water-driven waste reactions, the one spitting out CO2, cutting emissions at the source. The results? Mind-blowing. Carbon waste lost as CO2 plummets from 30% to under 1%, while valuable product yield surges over 85%. Even better, companies don't need new factories, just a dash of this magic additive. It's a triple win: environment, economy, and practicality. And it's no distant dream. After publishing in Science, teams are already scaling tests with businesses to roll it out in fossil fuel power and other industries, helping hit global green energy goals. One brilliant idea solved a 100-year headache, proof that innovation can spark a green revolution.
Okay, so get this. Scientists in China might have just cracked a massive 100-year-old energy problem. And their secret? Something they're calling molecular-level seasoning. Sounds pretty wild, right? We're going to break down what that actually means right now. I know, it sounds kind of crazy. How can one tiny drop of something fix a giant industrial process that's been a pollution nightmare for a whole century? Well, that's the big mystery we're unpacking today. All right, so to really get what a huge deal this is, we've got to go back in time a bit. We need to look at the technology at the very heart of this story, a process that is, well, both incredibly useful and deeply, deeply flawed. It's got a pretty technical name, the Fischer-Tropsch synthesis. But stick with me. For 100 years, this has been like a master recipe for industry. You take stuff like coal or natural gas or even biomass, and you transform it into really valuable things. We're talking everything from clean synthetic diesel fuel all the way to those super pure waxes that end up in cosmetics and industrial lubricants. So on paper, that sounds amazing, right? But this old recipe, it's always had a fatal flaw, a really big one, with a massive environmental price tag. And the root of the problem, it's the catalyst. That's the thing you add to make the reaction happen faster. See, the standard iron-based catalyst they've been using forever has this really nasty side effect. It causes this unwanted reaction between carbon monoxide and water, and the result is just enormous amounts of CO2. And just look at how wasteful this is. It's pretty bad. With the old-school process, almost a third, a full 30% of all the carbon you put in is just lost. Poof. It doesn't become anything useful. It just gets pumped into the atmosphere as a greenhouse gas. I mean, that's a staggering amount of waste and pollution just built right into the system. So for a century, that was just the deal. You wanted the fuel, you got the pollution. But now, research teams from the Chinese Academy of Sciences and Peking University have found a solution. And it is almost unbelievably simple. Okay, get ready for this. 1 part per million. That is the absurdly tiny amount of this special additive they use. To give you an idea of how small that is, imagine a full bathtub. It's like adding one single drop of liquid to that entire tub. That's it! Professor Ma Ding from Peking University put it perfectly. He said it's like adding a drop of molecular-level seasoning. A tiny addition brings a huge difference. And honestly, that just hits the nail on the head. That's exactly what they've done. So, okay, obviously this isn't actual magic, right? It's just some seriously brilliant chemistry. So let's pull back the curtain and see how this little drop of seasoning actually works. It's science. Okay, so here's the secret sauce. The scientists add that tiny, tiny bit of a special compound. And what it does is it acts like a smart switch right on the surface of the catalyst. It basically tells the water, nope, you're not playing today. It blocks the water from getting involved in that wasteful side reaction that creates all the CO2. So it just cuts the problem right off at the source. And the bonus? It actually boosts the creation of the good stuff, the valuable products they wanted in the first place. And the results? They are absolutely mind-blowing. Seriously. You remember that old process, wasting about 30% of its carbon is CO2? Well, the new process gets that number down to less than 1%. It practically eliminates those emissions altogether. And here's the kicker. The amount of useful stuff they get out of it skyrockets to over 85%, which is way, way beyond what the industry is used to. What used to be waste is now a valuable product. Now, this is so much more than just a cool experiment in a lab. The real-world impact of finally fixing this century-old problem, it's just massive. You hear people talk about a win-win, but this is a legit win-win-win. It's a huge win for the environment, right? Slashing all those emissions. It's a win for the economy, because you're turning waste into money. And this is the big one. It's a massive win for practicality. Companies don't have to tear down their factories and build new ones. They just have to add that little drop of seasoning. That's it. And you might be thinking, okay, this is probably decades away. Nope, this isn't some far-off dream. After they published their work in the top journal Science, which is a huge deal by the way, the research teams got right to it. They're already working with companies, testing this thing at scale. The goal is to roll this out for full industrial use and really help us hit those global green energy targets. A story like this is just such a powerful reminder of what innovation can do. They took a 100-year-old problem and solved it with one single brilliant idea. And that kind of leaves you wondering, doesn't it? What other old technologies that we rely on every single day are just one drop of molecular seasoning away from their own green revolution?